Dan, good to see you, mate. Happy New Year.
You as well, mate. Good to see you.
Thanks for being my official first guinea pig in hopefully what is the first of many of these style interview conversations. And for a little bit of context, over the break, I was kind of reflecting on the first, 7 or 8 months of running the away team's business. And, all transparency, Dan, you are one of my first clients, and we love our first clients, that's for sure. But one of the best things I've had about this business is the diverse nature of my client base. And through working with different clients, I've got to understand different industries and different sectors, from obviously mortgage broking, which I had a little bit of a background in. But we've got retail and e-commerce and digital and healthcare and tech. And I'm learning so much, not only about different businesses, but I'm probably getting the most out of people's personal journeys and stories around where they got to and how they got to where they are today. And so these, hopefully the first of many of these style interviews where, our clients can come on, we can have a chat and, just kick around some ideas and thoughts, and importantly, just share a bit about your story. So thank you for being my guinea pig. Hopefully it's not too painful for you. And welcome, Dan Gold. Obviously, Dan is the founder and owner of the Long Property Mortgage Broking business, award-winning, which we'll get to in a moment. But Dan, I want to start way back. If we wind the clock, I'm a big NFL fan. And I do remember a story that you were a punter in college playing gridiron. Do you want to maybe talk a little bit about that story and how a young Aussie kid from Caulfield in Melbourne ended up in college punting?
Definitely. Well, these are some of my fonder memories. So thanks for starting on a more positive note. And that time of my life was unbelievable. When I'm not with my wife, I say that was the best time of my life. When I am with Elise, then obviously our marriage and kids and all that trumps it. But college football was back in 2005, 2006, and it's not the most glamorous story. In fact, I'm just having a look at this video chat. You can see my razor sharp haircut, and I think I might look more like a football player than I really am. But look, I just kind of like what you were saying. I fell in love with NFL and gridiron and all that kind of thing when we were just in our late teens, early 20s, and I did a summer camp, Camp America it was called, just after finishing school, and that's where I learnt about the whole game and how it works. I met some pretty cool people, and we, you're just having a kick of the footy, and they say, hey, maybe you should have a go at this or something, and that just stuck with me. So, I through that experience managed to bring a whole bunch of gridirons back to Melbourne. I don't even think you could buy gridirons in Melbourne then, but I kind of managed to get some back from the US, and I literally just spent pretty much every day for 18 months kicking a football to myself back and forth. I just kick it one way, run and get it, kick it back, practicing. And a couple of years later, I ended up at the University of Pennsylvania as the punter on their football team, which was bizarre. Look, for me, it was more just about the people that I met and really just the experience. Like, I wasn't a gun Aussie rules football player, and I didn't have a huge kick, but I landed up on this team, and it just made me realize that, just through persistence and determination, what opportunities you can experience, right? And that was the biggest takeaway for me, which has helped me so much, beyond the whole football experience. After Camp America, applied to I tried to get in contact with 5 or 6 football schools and didn't hear back from anybody. And it was only after I got accepted into a study abroad program at Penn that I started getting any luck. And I was going there academically, regardless of football, right? But once I had that opportunity, I literally spent about 6 months emailing repetitively the whole coaching program. So you can kind of get their email addresses off the internet, and I'm like, hey, Coach Shepherd, Coach Bagnoli, Coach this, Coach that. I'm Dan, wanting to introduce myself. No response for like 5 months. But knowing that I was going to America anyway, I just kept emailing these guys. And one night, this is after literally 5 months, I accidentally get copied on an email which said something like, hey, Coach B, what should we do about this guy? He's bloody annoying. And they accidentally copied me on that email, and I was like, oh my God, you guys exist. You're alive. Like, I'm Dan. Can we talk, And that just brought me, anyway, that's how I got in contact with them. One thing led to another. I had to send over a 2-minute tape of me punting. They thought it was a skit out of Saturday Night Live, but anyway, it worked and I got on.
It talks to something about perseverance, right? And so I love it. I reckon it's a great story. It's lifelong memories, and I'm glad you could give us some insight into that. I want to more focus on your entrepreneurial streak. You had a kind of win with one, and then a kind of fail with the next. Do you want to maybe just touch on kind of mum go quickly, and then I just want to see what you kind of take out of a failed, and failed is is a harsh word, but about the Melt experience and the Melt business.
100%. So yeah, that's right. After I started working in investment banking for a few years after uni, and then after that, my wife and I left banking. She was in a similar role to try these two businesses. One was great, one was terrible. But I mean, looking back, we're young today. We're 36 years old. We were very young back then, and I suppose I know nothing. I feel like I know very little now, and I definitely knew very little then. But in investment banking, you work with some pretty amazing people, and they almost give you this sense of confidence that you're very amazing as well, which I think in my case is not very true at all. So that's what I suppose gave us the confidence to just go out and try these businesses that we thought would be wonderful. The first one worked out quite well financially, probably more so by luck than anything else. We were acquired very early on by Catch of the Day that's now owned by Woolworths. After that we tried a hospitality business. We had this big grand vision of kind of like a grilled franchise or a grilled franchising kind of model, but in the Italian pizza space. And we built a couple of stores and couldn't make them work. So ultimately, we sold the leases and moved on. It wasn't through any lack of hard work. I've always just been so passionate about business and finance and investments, and just, I'm a very driven and hardworking kind of person. I can't help it. It's not necessarily a good thing, but we worked our absolute asses off in Melt. We tried to execute on this grand plan and business plan as best we could. And it's just a concept that didn't take off, and I think was, in hindsight, probably plagued to begin with. So I can talk again for hours about what we learned and what some of the key takeaways were. But yeah, I do think, as hard as it was, it definitely helps you enjoy the better times, which thankfully we've got now. And it also just absolutely gives you a lot more perspective and I suppose makes you all the wiser for future business kind of investments and decisions that you make afterwards.